Okay. Ah. So, welcome to Breathe Yoga. I'm Allison Litchfield, and our contemplation practice today is on the breath as the dancer. So, we're going to actually really bring our full attention to our breath today in the moment, and also start to sort of contemplate that breath in our life. Like, how do we breathe? How do we work with the breath as the dancer? So, when I think of the breath as the dancer, I think of the dance of play, the dance of lila, and how the in breath and the out breath are always seeking one another. And sometimes we get fixated in either the inhale or the exhale, and so this practice, this contemplation practice, though it's on the breath, is really on like, how are you breathing your life? So the breath is a play, right, of in breath and out breath. We're never not breathing when we're alive in these bodies. We're always breathing. The question really is how aware are we of our breath? And how fixated do we get on our in breath or our out breath? And when we can start to bring a lot of awareness to the breath as the dancer, then we suddenly experience life in a much more fluid and exchange. I think of exchange and fluidity. And so, um, if you tend to be a little bit more inhalation fixed, you might have perhaps a little more anxiety, a little more stress in your life, a little more worry about the future. And so our breath tends to get sort of upward and outward fixed, right? Whereas if you're more exhalation fixed, you might be a little more stuck in the past. You might have um, thoughts that sort of loop around regret and wishing things were differently and thinking about your life and how it could have been, regrets about the past. So that can often take us into places of maybe a little more depression where we can't see a vision for ourselves. So as we start to work with the breath and we start to realize, like, oh, if you're more exhalation fixed, you can actually take in a little bit more of life, feel more expansive, more upright. And then if you're more inhalation fixed, you can get that sense of, oh, what is it like to be more still, more grounded, more centered, more present? So both the inhalation and the exhalation are always in this divine dance together, right? And they're always seeking one another and that place that's in the midline. So that is what we're going to work today in our contemplation practice. And I do love to contemplate this in life too, because it shows us, it becomes our teacher, the breath, and it shows us where we get out of balance in our lives. Do we go towards more of the future and worry? Do we get more fixated in the past? And the breath keeps things fluid. It keeps us from being fixated. So when we think of that, when we think of lila, which means play, play has to do with dialogue, right? We're having a dialogue. We're opening to possibility when we play. We might go one direction, and because we're open, it takes us to a new direction. And so we're going to bring in play here and lila as we contemplate our breath. And you're just going to sort of contemplate. Really, the difference between a meditation practice and a contemplation practice is that you're not trying to get to some quiet state of being or ascend, right, your consciousness. You're actually um, bringing your awareness right into, I lost you for a minute. You're bringing your awareness right into your life, and you're taking this concept of the breath as the dancer, the breath as the play, as the lila, and you sort of take it then into your life. Like, where do I get stuck? Where am I too organic and too open? All those things we're going to look at today in our practice. So we'll just simply close our eyes. And you're not going to manipulate the breath at all in this practice or do anything differently. I just want you to become the observer to your own breath. So you're just going to notice. You're going to notice your breath. You're going to just notice if it's shallow or if it's more deep. You're going to notice where your breath flows into your body and how it flows out. Right? So, where does it flow? It flows into your lungs. And how does it affect your rib cage, the front body, the back body, the sides? And just noticing. Start with this noticing, not doing anything, shifting anything. You can even notice the breath coming in through the nose and just feeling the air pass through the nostrils. And notice your exhalation, where it lands. And then I just want you to notice, is it easier for you to inhale or is it easier for you to exhale? Are you more comfortable? Are you more comfortable physically on the in breath or on the out breath? Just notice the tongue inside of the mouth, let it be soft, and see if you can let your jaw be relaxed. And you're just going to listen, let your ears be open. And we'll just breathe in and out through the nose right now. We can get a little more breath that way and a little more awareness. And you're just going to notice the wave of the in breath, almost like a wave, like it's coming into the body and it's moving the body, maybe expanding some of the ribs, perhaps lifting the shoulders. And then you're going to exhale, follow that wave back out again. And you're still in that observer mode, just watching the dance of your breath. Just listening, observing, feeling, experiencing your own breath. This might be new. And then you're going to feel into, which breath, the in breath or the out breath, are you more comfortable with? And I want you to see if you can stretch the one you're not comfortable with a little bit longer. So if it's your inhalation, you're just going to take a little bit of a fuller breath, breathing maybe more into the back of your body, the sides. And then you're going to follow that breath all the way out. So maybe it's your exhalation that's less comfortable. And you're going to see what it takes to take a little bit of a longer exhale, a little bit of a pause, and perhaps even letting the body movement follow that pause, that exhale. You might feel the shoulders relax. And then we're just going to dance with the breath. So we're going to allow the breath to take us, just like the music might take us, into the movement, into the flow. And you might visualize a piece of seaweed in the water, just flowing with the in breath, releasing with the out breath. Now we're going to start to play with that dancer where the in breath, begins to say hello to the out breath and then follows the out breath. And then at the bottom of the out breath begins to find and seek the in breath, just following that wave back up again into the in breath. But there's still the seed of the out breath, even in the peak of the in breath. And then again, that top of the in breath meets the out breath and starts to flow back down and in. You're just going to start to play with this dialogue, right? So we live in a culture where we don't breathe well. We just don't breathe well. We live under a lot of stress. We have very mental lives that we live inside of. Most of us are not embodied. Most of us just go to autonomic breathing. We don't even realize we're breathing. So this is a big practice to start to embody. And you'll notice where your breath stops, where you hold, where you tense against it, where you exhale fixed and you collapse a little bit so you don't get enough breath. So the breath is like representative of how we live and how we let go, essentially. That first breath we take as we come into the world, taking in life. That last breath we take as we go out. That big, deepest surrender that we do in our lives. And the breath as a daily practice is really a practice of how we take in life. How full can we get? How expanded can we get in our breath? How much life can we take in? And then how much are we actually willing simultaneously to let go and to release and to give back? And so then if you start to think about, as we inhale, we are taking in that carbon dioxide, or sorry, the oxygen. We're taking in oxygen that plants give off. Breathing it in. As we exhale, we're offering carbon dioxide back out into the plant world, and they're taking it in. And there's this beautiful exchange going on. And now you can even feel more the dancer that you are participating in your own breath in this life, right? So inhaling, exhale, let it be fluid. And then here's where you can begin some contemplation. So how much do you take in of life? How much are you willing to take in? And how much are you able to let go? So you'll know by looking at your attachments in life. What are you attached to that you're holding, you're gripping, keeping you from the dance? It's keeping you from the lila, the play. Yeah. So especially as women, when we access play, we're accessing the quantum field. And in the quantum field is infinite, is the infinite. We have access to everything we need in that quantum field. But if we're in a fixated place, fixated points of view, fixated in our body, holding tension, it's very difficult to access that place. So the breath is simple. Breath as the dancer. She inhales us, expands us, opens us, radiates the inner body, and then she exhales, releases, softens us, grounds us, recenters us, and then she inhales, Again, open, open to possibility. Exhale, receive, give back. Inhale. What are you willing to receive? And then that's receiving. Can you offer the exchange of giving and releasing, giving some of yourself away? That's another place we can contemplate. Are you more of a receiver or are you more of a giver? I would say that women tend to give. We tend to give out, right? And it's harder and more challenging for us to receive, which is why we often go into burnout. And so see if that resonates for you, if you can just receive the breath a little bit more, take it in for yourself, take in the life force, and then exhale. See how much more you have to give, right? The breath is the dancer. Mm. Love for you to sit with this, contemplate the breath as the dancer, the idea of giving and receiving, taking in life, letting go, and releasing your attachments. All of these things. The teacher of the breath as the dancer. What does that teach you? When you really tune in, you really breathe with awareness. What can it teach you in your life? Okay, so you'll take the next 5 minutes or so and 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and sit, contemplate. And then after 5 minutes, you might want to set your timer. You're going to open your eyes and just free form right for 5 minutes. You can set your timer for both of those things. Contemplating the breath as the dancer, as the lila, as the play, and the dialogue between the in-breath and the out-breath, between duality, the light and the dark. Write about it, express it, have fun with it. Thank you. Namaste, everybody.